Good evening and welcome to Spectrum. How's everybody doing this weekend? I guess it's the weekend. How's everybody doing tonight? It's going to be a wonderful show. I'm very excited. I'm mostly excited because I got my hair to do right tonight. And a lot of people can relate to that. 'Cause sometimes you think it's right, and then you'll see the playback and you're like, okay, well, that didn't look like I thought it looked in the mirror. But it looks right tonight. I'm like, oh, I did it finally. This is the hairstyle I've been trying to get the whole season. And we're already, how many weeks into it? And I finally got it to lay right, and my part looks nice and healthy. Ooh. So anyway, I digress. Welcome to Spectrum. My name is Dana Roxanne. I am your hostess with the mostest. And another thing that I'm very happy about that y'all probably don't give two shits about, but I'm happy as crap about it, is the fact that I'm wearing this. This is really a blouse, but I'm wearing it as a dress because it now fits as a dress because it's bigger on me now because I've lost weight and it looks like a dress. Very Mod Squad, mind you. But there was a time when it wouldn't go over my booty at all. It was just a blouse, and I put it on, and I'm like, oh, it's a dress. I know that's stupid, but that excited me. So it's a good day for me here. I got my hair doing right. I got my blouse is now fitting as a dress. So it's a good day. We're on a good track with the weight loss. Anyway, so we're going to get right into the show because we have a wonderful show lined up for you guys. Today's topics, we're going to be discussing what's going on right now, and that is Donald Trump is speaking as a keynote speaker at CPAC. And they've rolled him out the golden calf and everything for him there. And we have really got to get into a discussion about that. And we couldn't discuss that without Ted Cruz now thinking he forgot he's a senator because he thinks he's a stand-up comedian. So we're going to definitely be discussing his little moment at CPAC this weekend, the nerve of him. And we're also going to be discussing Governor Cuomo in New York about the funeral home scandal with the COVID numbers, as well as what's going on. This story, it's evolving in real time because now there's a second accuser with sexual harassment charges. So we're going to be discussing that. And of course, we have to have our pop culture moment. We're going to be discussing the Bachelor scandal, if you're watching The Bachelor. I can't believe that's still on, but it's a scandal because of Chris Harrison, the host, has stepped away because there's a scandal going on having to deal with race. And that brings up the whole cancel culture thing again. And so we're going to have a conversation for pop culture about that. And then, of course, right here in Houston, Texas, at home in the Montrose area, we're going to be discussing the changing face of Montrose and how us Houstonians and Montrose, LGBTQ Montrose people feel about the changing face. A lot of us were around when it was just this sleepy little hamlet, this very artsy village, and it was just this place where everybody came to and felt loved and safe. And even in the middle of the day, there was so much foot traffic because it was so alive. And now, through the glory of gentrification, it has changed. So we're going to be discussing that. And then for our interview this evening, none other than my biological oldest brother, Sam Hutchins, is going to be my very special guest. I'm very excited about that. This is a first. It's perfect for Black History. So that's going to be a very interesting, fun interview. Actually, I'm very excited and very proud of him because he's has a philanthropic organization, Xavier Foundation, because my nephew, Xavier, is autistic, and his relationship with my brother is so beautiful and so special. And my brother started a foundation in his name. And I thought that was just the most beautiful thing. And now he also has a podcast with a friend of his that we're going to be discussing as well. So he's doing wonderful things, stayed at home to do it. You know, I had to jump on a plane and a Greyhound bus and leave town to do what I needed to do, but he's still right there at home at the forks of the river, making it happen. So we're going to be having a conversation with him coming up. I can see all of the guests, the co-hosts are in the green room, so we're going to jump right in and welcome them to the show. Hi, Charles.
Why do I got to be first?
Because you're the first one in the green room. Oh,
How
you're
you
sitting
doing?
up close tonight. You look perfect. It's wonderful. You're close. This is perfect. You look great tonight.
I'm tired,
Well,
but I'm
you're
glad
not
to
in
be
your
here.
car. So did you sell the house you were showing?
Yes, I did.
Yay! Let's bring Wendy in and see what she's up to. Hi, Wendy. Let me try her again. Okay, she's gonna have to. Wendy, you're having. I think you're frozen. We'll come back to Wendy. Hi, Crystal.
Hello.
Hi, beautiful lady. How are you doing?
Um, Not as good as you, gorgeous.
Oh, whatever. You look amazing. Come on, lashes.
um,
You look beautiful. How are you doing
um,
this evening? You doing all right?
I feel a little sane, a little bit.
So
So
did you get
I'm
your plumbing fixed?
no.
Girl,
What?
everything over there.
You, you,
You might
listen,
have
you're gonna have to take Charles up on his offer. He might be short, but he can do some plumbing. He's very
listen.
masculine. He's very macho.
If you can crawl into this house and fix it, I got you.
I think he can. I think y'all can need to have to work that out because Crystal, this is going on 2 weeks.
Great.
Let's see what Chris is up to. Hi, Chris.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Somebody got a haircut.
No, I haven't.
It
Seriously.
look it looks different. What did you do different to your hair?
I combed it. That's what it was.
That's called bathing.
You combed it.
I
Good.
combed it.
Well, it looks good. I see Wendy hasn't come back yet. We're gonna have to have her jump in here in a minute. So I don't want to get into the topics too deeply without her because she's been very
Where's
passionate
Julie?
all week.
She's been ready for these topics.
I know. I'm like, wow. I like the excitement.
I
It's
know.
She's been killing my phone battery. She's been killing my phone battery because
We're
I
not gonna
hear
go
her
through this tonight,
ping,
Callie. Okay.
and she's just going all in about the topic. So I'm ready to hear it.
I know exactly.
Today's my
All right.
last news purge, so
Well, I'm sure she's
tomorrow I'll be out in it.
she's going to get that worked out. While she's trying, I don't want her to miss the political ones because that's what she's fired up about. So let's start with our pop culture, and maybe that'll give her time to get it fixed and get back in. So, did y'all read the thing, the article I sent you about Chris Harrison and the Bachelor?
Yes.
Let me bring up the
The
audience
Bachelor.
up to. Let me bring the audience up to speed. So this is what's going on. Chris Harrison is a longtime host of the Bachelor series. It's a game show, dating show, whatever you want to call it. They're in like season number 5,000. I don't know how long the show's been on, but one of the contestants, and for the first time, 2021, they have a black Bachelor. They've had all these seasons and never had a black Bachelor. This, I don't know if they did it because it's Black History Month. I just thought of that. Anyway,
No.
so they have a black bachelor, and one of the white, I think she's white. I don't know her race. And she looks white to me. Don't get me, I'm old. If it looks white, it's white. So she went to an antebellum party in 2018. And if you know anything about the antebellum Old South, that's about slavery and hey, Miss Mammy, and let's pick some cotton. That's an antebellum party. And she's there with her friends in her outfit and her Southern Belle attire, drinking it. And so they've called her out about it. And so one of the other ladies was Lindsay. She works for Extra, and she was interviewing Chris Harrison. And he goes, oh, well, that's what everybody was doing, so it should be fine. And that's what everybody was doing. And it was 15 years ago. And it's like, sir, it was 2018. That was 3 years ago. So, but anyway, after he said that, he got a lot of backlash. And now it's the situation where he has stepped away from the show. Question to the panel: do you think he should have stepped away? What do you think about the situation? Let's start with Charles. Callie, you have to sit down.
We're in a day and age where everything is on social media, and you can Google somebody's name and find out pretty much anything about them as far as searching. When you apply to be on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, you go through an extensive process of being fact checked and background checked. I think people in The Bachelor knew what she did. And in this day and age where racism is such a hot topic and it generates so much buzz and newsworthiness and so much energy to the show, whether it be good or bad, because let's be honest, if you're being talked about, you're relevant. So I think they cast her because of the antebellum party, and you cause this trauma and this negativeness, and to make us feed into this. Because what are we doing? We're all talking about The Bachelor. The Bachelor is a show that's exactly.
So you think
It's
it
old
was
and
for
for the
clickbait?
play.
So you think it
I
was
think it was
clickbait?
calculated.
Oh, that's a good.
I think
I
they
never
put it
even
on
thought of it
there.
that
Yeah,
way.
I have to agree with Charles. I feel like the
I
producer
think it was calculated.
is induced. It's just
If
sensational.
it's 2008, back when MySpace was around,
It was
then maybe.
2018. It was 18.
But this is 2018. This is something that a simple history search on her Instagram would have proved what happened on her MySpace or Facebook or LinkedIn, anything, you know. I think it's calculated. I think The Bachelor did this on purpose. So
I
shame
think
on them.
I
Shame on
like
producers and
where
the
you went
community.
with that. I would never. I didn't even think about it in those terms. That's a good
But
point.
for
What do
the
you think?
host for the host to glaze over it and pretty much act like, oh, who cares? That was pretty shitty on his part.
His quote was it unacceptable in 2018 or is it not acceptable in 2021? Was his quote. Just to put it out there to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Right.
Well, it wasn't
That was
acceptable
his
in
quote.
BC era, so it's not acceptable in any of AD years or before. So
do you think that's what he was trying to say, Crystal? Do you think he was trying to no pun intended, but trying to whitewash over it? Like, oh, well, it's now. We should care about now and not then. Is that what you think he was saying?
Absolutely. And I think that soundbite is going to follow him for the rest of his days, as long as, we're paying attention to it. I definitely think he tried to, 3 years ago, who's counting? He definitely tried to whitewash that. I think that is absolutely disgusting for him to even say, well, does it even matter? Basically, as if racism is not such a sensitive issue already. And to talk to a Black reporter who was interviewing him about it was even more.
And he continually was cutting her off in the interview.
It's almost like he was mocking her.
It kind of did, Charles. What did you think, Wendy? So glad to have you back.
Hi.
Hey, love the
hair.
So what do you think about it, Wendy?
You know what? I don't really have much of an opinion on it. I don't watch The Bachelor. I absolutely hate reality TV after having been on it twice.
A third time we're on it now.
So Wendy, you can speak to the what Charles was saying. Do you think that these reality shows, you're a vet from American Idol, and what was the other? You did American Idol twice, was it?
Yep.
Okay, so when you were on American Idol, did you see them producing y'all? Not just your vocals, but producing story for the show.
There absolutely were moments of production, and there were moments that were very authentic. I mean, like, were we all excited that we got our golden tickets? Yes, we were all excited that we got our golden tickets. But when you saw us filming our excitement for the golden tickets, I had been sitting in that theater for 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
I had already gotten my golden ticket 8 hours ago. And now you want me to run out of the door like I just got it.
Oh, wow.
So were those moments sincere?
Oh, wow. So that goes back to Charles's point. This was probably calculated, and they did it because I'm sure the ratings aren't what they used to be. So they're like, ooh, let's get some ratings. And he's Black, so let's throw this in there.
That's what I was going to say.
Very calculated.
No, that's what I was going to say, because the month of February and November, it's rating sweeps?
Sweeps.
Yeah, and so they're just trying to it's all sensationalism just to keep going. I mean, The Bachelor, what else are they going to come out with? A Martian? So, they're just trying to find something to keep the juice flowing on that machine. And in my personal opinion, Chris Harrison, he should have been degrading to the reporter. That's number one. You're doing this interview, you're doing a live interview. Now, if he personally feels this way, then he should just kept his mouth shut, because he's just a host.
Gotcha.
And leave it, and that, just keep your mouth shut. You're just a host, baby. You're just a host. You're not a contestant. You're not fighting for this man. You're not fighting for keep your ass in your lane. That's all.
Well, we will definitely keep our eye on that. Let's switch gears and get over to I'm just totally forgetting. Callie, please sit down. You're doing way too much. So I want you guys to take a look at this right here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Where is it? There it is.
Orlando is awesome. It's not as nice as Cancun.
The winter blast has now left millions with unprecedented storm damage, massive electricity bills.
More than 8 million are still without safe drinking water. How many leftists does it take to screw in a light bulb? That's not funny! Today, at an emergency meeting, a frightening admission from ERCOT, which runs the state power grid. They were 4 minutes and 37 seconds from a total statewide blackout. AOC is telling us she was murdered!
New York Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez volunteered at the Houston Food Bank this morning. Ocasio-Cortez organized a fundraiser to benefit 5 million relief organizations.
You gotta put your mask on. Sadly, I've got 2. This is just dumb.
Chuck Pryor is the director of this small Houston funeral home, and ever since the global pandemic came to Texas, the state hit hard by COVID-19, the phone has not stopped ringing.
Freedom!
So what do y'all think about our fabulous Senator Cruz at CPAC? He's now a stand-up comedian. What do you think about that, Crystal?
Asinine. The whole time I was listening, because they were like, when I saw it was almost like it was 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. I was like, I'm not putting this in my subconscious. But I was like, let me just watch his segment and just kind of catch some highlights. And I was listening to him the whole time. I'm like, is this supposed to be a stand-up here? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's such a smear on everything that he's doing in the political realm. And it's gross. It was gross.
How did his joke about Orlando land with you, Chris?
Not very well. Being the fact that I was without water, or hot water, that is, or electricity, or the fact that I had a head injury, I wasn't laughing at all. I found it sickening. I found it disrespectful to anyone that lives in the state of Texas. And I feel that whoever voted for him should really rethink about his seat. And I think his ass needs to take his ass back over to Canada, because I think that's where his parents are from. Because I don't think we need that type of camaraderie here. We really don't need that type of camaraderie here. And we really need to elect somebody else new, because we need someone that's really going to give a damn. Not someone that's going to crack a joke, go to Cancun, leave Snowball in the freezing, then try to come back and try to change the story around and say he was just going to drop off his kids. Child, you were dropping off your kids. We have the proof. What did Trump call his wife? Ugly? His ugly wife had that group chat where she was already planning everything weeks in advance. No. I think it was like 4 or 5 days beforehand. So, I feel like he tried to come up with so many lies, and technically, no pun intended, became a snowball effect, and it became an avalanche. And then he tried to be a comedian, which he's horrible at. It was to me, it was degrading, it was sickening. And let me get it. And I understand sometimes between us personally, person to person, sometimes we'll crack a joke that's going to be a little too far off. But that was just unacceptable. That would have even been wrong for me. I mean, because I knew exactly what everybody was going through.
You think he was just doing that to kiss up to because he was amongst friends in that realm at CPAC? Or do you really think
I bet you there's a bunch of lobbyists in there, and I just think he wants to be in Trump's good graces.
Yeah, to solidify Trump's core. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think what is Trump speaking tonight, I believe. And this it's just, he was just doing it to kiss ass. He was doing it to kiss ass and probably just promote. I mean, come on, let's be honest. All politicians, Democratic, Republican, whatever, they all have lobbyists behind them. So, I mean, he's just a talking puppet for them. That's all it is.
What did you think, Wendy?
I thought it was a very let them eat cake moment. And I kind of wanted to change his name to Teddy Antoinette, but I guess in our case we'd be eating snow cones. But I'm very with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich at this point and off with his head, Teddy Antoinette. That's absolutely ridiculous and disgusting. The whole process from the time when he left in the first place to lying about leaving and coming back and then trying to do all of these photo ops moments which is too little too late. I'm absolutely horrified that he's going to go on as a key speaker at this point, and they allowed that to happen, acting like it's no big deal.
Yeah. And Charles, as a Republican, did you vote for Ted Cruz, if I may ask? Okay, so is this the Ted Cruz that you voted for?
No. So I think I'm very, and everybody should know that I do not like a flip flopper, and I don't like somebody that doesn't stand their ground. When he went to Cancun and loaded his dollars on a plane and left, good for him. You got the money, you got the time, go. But the second you can't take a little bit of criticism or backlash, it makes you a sellout. I'd respected him more, and I think a lot of other people would have gotten over a lot quicker had he just ate the cake and instead of trying to turn it into a shit sandwich.
True.
And that's what it turned into. I didn't like the photo ops afterwards. It makes you a sellout, my point, in my opinion. He should have stayed in Cancun and posted a picture on the beach with the Mai Tai. I would have liked that better than seeing him serving barbecue to first responders.
And he even was
at that point,
stuff about
we all
that.
know that's what's her name from Scandal, Kerry Washington. That's a Kerry Washington trying to fix your image kind of moment right there.
Oh, I wonder if he has something to do. That would be
right
very
on Shonda Rhimes' playbook for Scandal to come in let's wash over this Ted Cruz moment. And you know, he does a lot of good things, but if you can't stand your ground in the heat of the moment, then what's going to happen when you're staring down a powerful foreign dignitary? You know, you're going to back away or something like that. So it does change a little bit of opinions. But I don't like anybody who will sit there and the second they get a little bit of criticism or backlash, change their opinion and reform and go with it, you know. But I also, I don't know.
Well, we can't discuss CPAC.
He ran for president in 2016, right?
Yes, he did.
He ran for the nominee. So he will be running in 2024.
So we can't discuss CPAC without talking about this image here. Now, they trotted out this statue of Donald Trump, a golden, it's very biblical, golden, people are referring to it as a golden calf because I think we're in biblical times. So they have trotted out this golden statue. And like someone was pointing out today, this is a twice impeached president. He has lost the House, lost the Senate, and has been impeached twice. Why are they clinging to him? And I just want to know what y'all think. Why do y'all think they're clinging to him like this? Do you feel like they're worshiping him, Crystal?
Well,
yes, yes, absolutely. Once I seen the statue, I absolutely my thought process went to biblical times. Because what president do you know has a golden statue of him that everybody is kind of like awing at, and just to hear people's reaction while they were wheeling it in whatever arena or wherever they are, it was crazy to me. But I absolutely believe that they're worshiping him to like a point. I don't think it's kind of like the end all be all, but it's giving real Hitler vibes from that.
What do you think, Wendy?
Okay, so I think a lot of it is actually still that a lot of people are brainwashed. I mean, like they're still under the Trump spell. They still believe that they still believe that the election was stolen with no proof. Amen. They still believe that. They still believe he's the legitimate president. So of course they're going to follow him to the end, despite what all of the evidence says.
Right.
So it's complete brainwashing. And speaking of Nazis, did anybody?
Yeah, you were saying that.
The stage?
Yes, the stage. Yes.
The stage at CPAC is one of the. Do what?
Chris sent that article about the stage.
I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have glasses on. I'm trying to be grown and pretty. But yeah, I seen that it was like a swastika at the top. I was like, wow, how symbolic.
It's a Nordic rune, and it was used in a special SS class on their uniforms, on their collar of the officers.
Wow. Well, it's a good eye that you caught that. Do you think that's intentional?
Okay, so to be fair, the designer of the stage has come out and said there was absolutely nothing of that done on purpose. But I'm just going to say, look at the pictures. It's identical.
Zach, Wendy was pointing it out to us earlier. The stage has has a very Nazi tone to it. We'll just word it that way. There's a very Nazi tone to the stage at CPAC.
Go Google Nazi stage CPAC, and you'll see 20 articles. The one that I shared was from Forbes.
Wow. So Charles, what do you have you ever been to CPAC as a conservative? Have you ever been to CPAC?
No.
Would you ever go to CPAC?
But would I go? Probably. I've been to a Trump rally. So people are still enamored with Trump because he just left office. He hasn't been in office, but 30 something days at this point, or 45 days. I'm not for sure with the day count. I'm not brainwashed by him. Did he do a lot of great stuff? Yes. Do I like his character? Not so much. Did I think the statue was hilarious? It was fucking hilarious. I don't think it's anything other than a jab for people to talk about. And it garnered a lot of attention. It's going to get a lot of press, which, even like I said earlier, bad press, no matter what the press, it's still relevant. It's still being talked about. Trump's name is still on everybody's.
Controversy drives traffic.
It's coming out, So as far as the Nazi symbols, I didn't see any because I didn't look. I'm still media purged at the moment. I did do a little bit of research, but I'll be back in it next week. I made it through the whole month of February without doing any, without really looking at much. So proud of myself.
Congratulations.
Well, I
still think that it's worship. I just do. I mean, here's the reason why. Because in my
people
own
stood behind Obama just the way they stand behind Trump. So it's brainwashed the other way.
In my neighborhood, that way. One of our veterans replaced the American flag with a Trump flag.
Yeah, that's the part that gets. I don't understand that part.
Replace the American flag with a Trump flag. And that's something that you see all over this neighborhood. I don't see hardly any American flags flying anymore. It's all Trump flags.
That is scary.
Exactly.
To even think like that it's not patriotic. Anything about that is not patriotic to me because we're not united. I'm just for this guy and whatever he believes in, whatever. It's very dangerous to live in times like these. And I've already went through my whole a Trump supporter spitting at me whole thing. So it's kind of I'm good on that. I'm good on it. Yeah.
So let's switch topics and switch gears. We're definitely going to maybe double back to what Trump had to say because he's speaking probably right now as we speak. So maybe if there's anything worthy that we need to talk about, we can follow up on that next week. Let's delve into something I find quite fascinating, and that is the fall from grace of Governor Cuomo. Who amongst us saw that coming? Who is surprised? Oh. Who is surprised? And just what are your thoughts about that? Charles, we'll go ahead and start with you. You raised your hand before Wendy did, I believe. Go ahead.
Yeah, so no matter if you're Democrat or Republican at this point, when you rise to the top, there's only one way for you to go. And unfortunately, once you pull out the Jenga piece that you shouldn't pull, everything crumbles, and that's what's happening. It is a disgrace what he done, but you can't sit there and call the kettle black and fill it up with all this hatred. And the second you do something, expect to skate by. I pray for all the victims of everybody. He's not the only governor, by the way, that has done this. I think there's 4 Democrat and 1 Republican governor who's going to be in hot water over just the nursing home scandals. But I think in the next 2 years, once all these investigations happen, we're going to see a lot of disturbing information come out of the COVID crisis.
I think you're right on that note.
Yeah.
What do you think, Wendy? Wendy, you raised your hand second. What are your thoughts?
I'm just not surprised at all at what any politician is willing to do or can do or thinks they can get away with. Particularly people in power. They get very power hungry. Of course, we see this with both men and women, but predominantly in men being reported. It's absolutely astounding to me that these guys get completely drunk on power and think they can get away with absolutely anything. Like someone's not going to finally say, enough, I'm willing to sacrifice everything just to stop you.
Right, and
Before
the thing,
Facebook, they could.
I thought it was very telling that it was Democrats were the ones that were reporting him. They were like the ones that were blowing the whistle and saying something's not right here. And I do applaud them for that, because we don't see a lot of that on the other side of the aisle. They will cover for each other far more than I feel like the Democrats do. What do you think, Chris?
Well, it's kind of upsetting. It is. It's upsetting because you want to have faith in these people. You don't have faith in politics, but clearly we all know that's all going to be tainted somehow. I just wish, I would have hoped that his office would have been more clear with the numbers. And and I know that he was switching out numbers, so everything needs to be COVID related, COVID deaths in nursing homes. I believe that if he would have just kept being honest, his office would have kept being honest, he wouldn't be in this hot water. I mean, on the side of the sexual harassment situation. But I agree with Charles. I agree with everyone on the panel. I believe that years from now, there's going to be all these studies, all these investigations, all these reports that are really going to come out saying, well, we didn't have this certain amount of deaths. It could be more, it could be less. It could be, COVID is something new. And I think that in the midst of the panic and the chaos, they're just throwing things in anywhere they could. But they should have taken time to really be able to organize this and be honest with the people. And be honest.
Don't put sick people to old people.
I would rather see somebody say, I messed up. Help me.
Exactly.
As opposed to
I'd rather say, you know what? I'm sorry, we weren't looking at this.
Right.
We're looking at this clearly. This is not the right. Let's go ahead. We're going to readjust these numbers. I'd rather come out and be honest than have say, oh yeah, so those all weren't COVID deaths.
I wonder if he was doing this before he praised Trump or after he praised Trump. Because remember, there was a week where he was praising Trump and everything he was doing for COVID. So I wonder if he was fudging numbers before or after.
Probably during.
I wonder if he did it afterwards.
Probably during.
No,
Crystal,
but I think it wasn't for profit, because he was doing this for profit. If you read the articles that you sent us, and I was reading it, which kind of really gave me a different aspect on him, because I thought he was great. But when I started reading that he was doing it for profit to get his nursing home business.
Well, that leads me to my question for Crystal. Crystal, do you feel like you were duped? Because for the longest time during COVID, people were looking to him even more so than the president as this grounding force, as this person that was, really calming and keeping everybody grounded, and as someone that they could look to for guidance and leadership. He really was selling himself or coming across as truly a leader in this whole situation. And now to find out that might not have been the case, do you feel like you've been duped?
I don't think I would use the word dupe, because I don't put all of my trust in any politician. There's a job to do, there's a dream to sell, but I do believe that he was trying to make the right strides. And when he wrote a book on how to handle the pandemic and what he would do as president, and then to have all of this come out about his administration manipulating numbers, it was like where's the integrity? Where, these aren't numbers, these are lives, and these people have put their elderly in homes where they can be properly taken care of, and they've been completely neglected, and now they're not even on the books because they had to manipulate these numbers, so they're not lives anymore. It's kind of like, let's just put a couple thousand to the side now, as if they never meant anything, as if they never contributed to the United States. I think it's absolutely crazy, but dude, no.
Do you think there's a call it's a growing call in California for Governor Newsom to be recalled? Do you think they're going to end up doing, Callie, you can't read. Do you think they're going to end up doing that in New York with Cuomo?
Great question.
It's going to be pretty hard to come back from this. But I wonder if we just with this fudging a number for the nursing home and for profit, we also know that a lot of people think the numbers were inflated so their states could rebound from bankruptcy, and they get funding for COVID. So I wonder how many other states
the funding,
fudge numbers for funding to use that money and allocate it towards other things. Because just because you get money from one line item doesn't mean you can't shift it to 5 others. So that's what I'm saying. I really hope the Biden administration puts forth a task force and audits and investigates every local, state, jurisdiction and find out what really happened with COVID. I wonder how many undocumented deaths there are because people were trying to shift numbers around.
Well, it's like I was saying, they're probably going to be figuring
happen.
that out for quite some time. That's going to take a while to figure out. I'm very sure.
But it needs to start now.
Yeah, I definitely believe you. So well, we're going to switch to our final topic of the evening, and we're going to talk about the changing face, Callie, the changing face of Montrose. So in case y'all haven't come down Westheimer and Montrose, this here shopping center, it used to be Blockbuster Video way back in the day.
Back in the day.
It became a mattress firm. And so it had the 369 diner, and then they also had a 24-hour emergency care and half-price books. And before it was even all of this, it was something else. This intersection, Westheimer and Montrose, has been there and has been like a cornerstone of the LGBTQ community here in Houston. And in case you are not aware, right behind this building is a Jack in the Box, and there's also what was affectionately called the Disco Kroger. Well, is being torn down. I don't know about the Jack in the Box. I'm pretty sure it is, but the Disco Kroger is going to be torn down, and this here has all been sold, and they're going to put a high rise here, if I'm not mistaken. So, how do we feel about this?
Heartbroken.
Wendy, how do you feel?
Annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Okay, so I have mixed emotions about all of this because of what Montrose used to be and what it stood for.
Mm-hmm.
Is such a beautiful thing, and wanting to keep that feeling is something that's been incredibly important, especially to the LGBTQIA plus community. However, on the other hand, we're not stuck in that Montrose area anymore. We can mainstream now. We're out in everywhere. We don't need that safe space as much as we used to. And that's something that we've been working towards for a long time. So that's something that is a wonderful thing on one side. On the other side, gentrification is never good.
Do you think all of the bars are going to end up being sold because they're too near residential areas now? Do you think that's going to change?
I don't know. I would see a hard fight coming for the bars to leave, to move. I don't see that happening anytime soon. However, in another 10 years, I couldn't say.
Well, I remember back in the day, if you would have told me that Crossroads was going to be sold, Mary's was going to be sold, Two Pesos was going to be gone. Charlie's hamburger place is going to be gone. Chance's is going to be gone. Bacchus is going to be gone. Studio 13, Bartini, Rascals. If you told me Wendy's that was across the street from there, these are all staples of this community. And if you would have told me that the Gay Pride Parade was not even going to be on Montrose, if you would have said all of this 15 years ago, I would have said, well, I don't see that happening because they were just monumental things. And I think we took them all for granted. And now that every place that I just mentioned is gone. Every place
I think that the start of moving the parade from Westheimer to downtown was the start of shifting the community to the city of Houston. It was, and I think Charles Armstrong knows a lot of what's going to happen because, he had the mining company and, sold out to, what is that, the Postino, which is a great restaurant, by the way. And, South Beach has been shut down for how many years now? For remodeling. Yeah. So I wonder how long
Baba Yaga's was another one.
A few of the bars will be able to maintain.
Chris, what are your memories from Chris? What are your memories from Montrose?
No, I'm a little heartbroken because Lobos, Crossroads. If anyone knows Hatch, I was. That's where I was able to find the safe haven, coming out as a teenager. And Montrose was just, again, it was a safe haven. It didn't matter who you were. No one judged you. It was an eclectic, eccentric area where you felt safe to be who you were. But I do agree with Wendy. It's that, we're no longer centered or in this little area of like a radius of 2 miles. Now I can go and be gay somewhere else, Cyprus. But,
I went to a bar in I went to a gay bar in Spring and had the time of my life there.
I
never thought I'd have fun outside of
We need to go. We need to go. I haven't been there. But you know, like I miss that nostalgic feeling of walking around, going to Disco Kroger, getting a burger at Jack in the Box, heading over to Crossroads, picking up a book, you know. And not only that, but you had that, you know, what's his name? God, the guy that walks with the stick.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
I miss him. I haven't seen him in
Yeah.
a while, and every time I see him, and I keep forgetting his name. Merlin, I believe. What isn't it, Merlin?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what they call
really
him.
God. I hope he's doing okay, but I haven't seen him in about 2 or 3 years. But that, to me, it's just that whole the gentrification. I think, you know, first of all, it's shooting up prices, property taxes, and everything. Yes.
Right.
I hope they don't get rid of the bars. I hope that stays. I hope that no matter what, regardless of restaurants, the gay restaurants and the LGBTQ bars are still there. That they can just, I don't know, hold some kind of be a historical landmark, because it really should be a historical landmark.
As somebody who's going through gentrification right now, literally, that's why I'm moving. My property taxes are way too high for me to live here, and I'm only like 6 minutes away from Montrose. I think it's a shame. Like, I was introduced to Montrose in 2015, and that first time going there, I felt it. It was like, I guess when you hear like drug addicts talk about that first hit, and it was like amazing, and they like look for the high again. That was my experience, because I was like, oh my God, there's people like me who would just love on me, and they just love me. Like, I don't understand. I've never been, you know. So I think that since I'm like kind of like the newbie of Montrose, I think it would be a shame that that's what's happening. But it's unfortunately what's happening, because again, I'm moving because my neighborhood is being gentrified. My property taxes went from $1,100 to $5,000 in less than 5 years. In less than 5 years, I've been here.
Welcome to the taxes.
Right.
No, same thing with the heights, though.
I hope that they can keep it up, you know, and like Chris said, make them historical landmarks, because clearly they've been there long enough to be something that is a community.
Well, it's gonna be very hard to get new licenses around the community. Like if a new bar want to pop up in Montrose, I think it's gonna be very hard to get a after hours license for, because you have to send notices to all the residents around that you want to open up a tavern, and they can stop you.
They
I
can.
met the early 2000s Montrose, the late 90s and early 2000s. I think it was a great time for me, just because that's my experience.
Well, I can tell you all that having arrived here in 1990, and that's the Montrose that y'all.
1919.
Okay, Charles, not too much. Not too much, Charles. Not too much in this evening. I said 1990. I remember arriving here, and I remember I was with my friend, and we were coming, and we was like, oh, now we're going to go to Montrose. And I remember when we got there, it was just like coming out of the woods in the Emerald City. Like, oh, wow. And everything just seemed really bright all of a sudden. And I'm like, what is going on? And I was just, because I'm a hillbilly at heart. And I'm just looking at all these people, and the gays were everywhere, and they were holding hands and doing stuff. I'm like, oh my God, they're just all out in the public. And I was just freaking out. And it was just amazing. And then I noticed how artsy, and then to come find out half the people weren't gay, they were just art folk, and they were just, everybody was together. And it wasn't about it being the gay area. It was just an artsy area.
It was a unity. It was a united front.
And that started to change about the time y'all started to say that y'all came along. And so then it became what y'all remember. And so it's even different from what I remember. So it's really...
I'm guilty of not going to Montrose during the day. I haven't been to Montrose during the day in probably 5 years. I only go at nighttime for the bars. So,
well, because as we get older, we don't do all that day drinking and carrying on anymore. So
I hope you're drinking. No, I'm sorry. But no. I miss Chance's Rainbow.
Chance's was my favorite. Love Chance's.
Bless you, Callie. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with Montrose. I hope that the babies are going to stick around and try to fight for it and keep the bars going and keep the love going and everything that it stood for. I don't know if it means that to them, because they're so new. Wendy, you're shaking your head. You don't think
they're
they will?
not gonna?
I think in 10 years it's only.
Why?
In 10 years it's gonna be gone.
Who?
Oh my God!
First of all right. How many people you know my age in the community that are an activist? Half of us. How many people in this new community, this new group, this new 21 and up group are activists right now? What are they actually doing?
I see your point. I'm like, I see your point. Okay.
Okay, who are they? Where are they? Step up, guys. We want you. I would love to pass this mantle off. Take the torch.
What is the first thing you think? How does one become activated and to take the mantle, to take the torch from you? What would one need to do, Wendy?
Step up, ask, say, hey, how can I get involved? How can I help? Where can I get involved? These are the things I'm passionate about, because I guarantee you, we have something like that as a nonprofit in every single bit of our community. Mm-hmm. We have it for homelessness. We have it for teens. We have it for elders. We have it for HIV positive. We have it for food scarcity. We have it for clothes drives, helping people get jobs. There's something that you can do in this community. Your voice is needed. Step up, reach out, send me a message. I'll get you hooked up with anybody. Trust me, my network is my superpower. All you have to do.
It really is. When she says that, y'all, it really is. Wendy is like a Rolodex. I swear to God. You can ask the lady, I got somebody for that. Hold on. That is she's not bragging and she's not lying, because that is very, very true. I have tapped into her Rolodex 1,000 times, I assure you. Well, we're gonna as things happen in Montrose, we will keep our eyes glued to it. Thank y'all for being here this evening. I hope y'all did you have fun tonight?
Yes.
Had a good time.
Well, and Julie had already let me know that she was not going to be here, and I was going to get a fill-in guest, but I'm like, well, let's just see how the five of us will do, how us five can handle it. But she was definitely missed, and we will see you next week, Julie. So I want to dismiss y'all one at a time. Let's see, Wendy got here last, so I'll let her hang out longer. So Charles, you were first. What do you got going on this week, Charles?
I am just going to lay low and take a break. So that's all I'm doing this week. And we'll get back in the news. I can't wait to get inside and watch the second impeachment. I didn't watch any of that. So I'm going to dive into a lot of hot topics.
Okay. Well, you have a great week, and kiss Ryan for all of us.
Yes.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. All right, Mr. Chris, what do you got going on this week?
Recovering. I actually had a surgery last week because of the head injury.
Yeah, tell us how that went. Now, what happened?
Oh, well, I had a water pipe burst in the house, in the kitchen, and it was the hot water line. And so I was like trying to get it all out the house, and everybody warned me, and I watched the news and everything, and it's like, be careful, water, hot water. Somehow in the frenzy of everything, I just slipped, fell. This house hates me. And this house hates me, and I hit my head, so I had to have surgery for that. And so hopefully everything's gonna be fine. My memory's coming back. So
you had lost your memory?
I was losing not a lot. I was losing the first of all, I had blurred vision, and then I was losing the first 30 seconds of anything I was doing.
Wow!
Thank you, Wendy, because of your message. I was like, yeah, I should really get checked out. But and I went and got checked down. They're like, oh, let's just go fix some stuff, so you won't see the back of my head for a while. But
and I'm like, your head looks different. What did you do?
They fixed it. No,
I'm so blonde. I'm so blonde under this wig. I swear to God, your head looks different. What did you do? Okay.
I'm like, I took a shower. No, but all this week is just resting, working, and school, and that's it. So.
All right, well, you go take it easy and get plenty of rest, and we will definitely be checking on you this week, sir.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right, Crystal, what do you got going on this week? What's coming up with the Healing Prism?
Oh, so we're getting back on track since everything has been happening. I'm just gonna stay low key and work behind the scenes as I normally do, because like Charles, I have been unplugging. Things have been overwhelming because where I was supposed to move, they were damaged because of the freeze. So now I'm flailing. It feels like I'm crying every 5 minutes. So I'm just like just disconnecting, but I'm like, I still have jobs to do. So I'm gonna be working with Isaac to make sure that we get back on track because your episode was next.
It
So-
was. So just tell me when you want to reschedule me, and I will be there. I promise you.
Absolutely, I will. You guys, make sure y'all check in, drop in, and subscribe, and all that good stuff.
All right, my love. You have a great week.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye. And then there were two, Wendy. So what is going on with you this week, ma'am?
Oh, I've got some photo shoots coming up. I actually have a couple for my midterm that I'm doing for photography class, but I also have one with the Montrose Forge coming up with some of my buddies bartenders that I'm really excited about. So if you love leather, definitely check out the Montrose Forge. They're fantastic, locally owned small business, attached right to Ripcord, right in the heart of the gay community.
Oh, wow.
Y'all make sure you check them out. They're fantastic. And of course, buddies, I'll be there Wednesday.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, thank you, my dear. I hope you have a wonderful week. Give my love to your beautiful wife.
I will do that. Thank you so much, Dana. You have a good one.
All right, my love. You too. Well, that's going to do it for our view, our panel discussion segment. Send us comments and messages. Let us know what you think. If you have some if you have some topics that you think you want us to discuss, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to look into them and bring them onto the show. And always feel free to chat, put comments in there. All right, you guys. Well, now I have to have a sip of water. We're gonna pay some bills and run a couple of commercials, and then we're going to come back with our very special guest interview with Mr. Sam Hutchins. So don't go anywhere. And remember, if you're interested in being an advertiser, a sponsor for the show, you can just inbox me directly. I'll be more than happy to get you all set up. We want to thank Sweets by Elise. They have lots of sweets like desserts, have a delicious peach cobbler. I've had it. It's delicious. Lots of her desserts are delicious. She's one of our advertisers. And of course, Love the One You're With is our streaming sponsor. Very proud to have them on board as well. So if you want, looking for somebody to marry you and do your civil union or what have you, Love the One You're With, wedding officiant will be the one that you would want to look into for that. And also Discovery Green is one of our advertisers. They always have events. Their Valentine's event was canceled, but they do have something coming up for spring. So stay tuned for that. All righty, so now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is the interview with my brother. I am very excited. I haven't seen him, laid eyes on him in 500 years, I think it is. Last time he was here to visit me. He came to visit here. And we had a wonderful visit. And we talk through messages and phone all the time, but we just never see each other in person. So I'm very, very excited. He has a foundation called the Xavier Foundation, as well as a podcast called Reggie and Sam. So let's welcome him to the stage, or to the show. I'm still at Barcode. Welcome to the stage. Let's welcome him to the program. This is my oldest brother, and I just said oldest brother. There's four of us, and he's the oldest. So let's welcome him to the program. This, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Hutchins. Hello, brother.
How's it going, lady? You doing okay?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Just maxing and relaxing.
Well, you look blessed. You look good.
Thank you.
Look, we're almost matching like purple.
That's my favorite color.
Oh my God, is it really? It's my favorite color.
Yeah, it's a brilliant minds think alike.
See, when I was growing up, let me tell you a funny story. When I was growing up, when I was little, you were there. When I was growing up,
yeah, I was there before you were. Yeah.
my favorite color was red. Do you know why my favorite color was red?
Yeah.
Why? You don't
Something
know.
about a wagon?
No, you think my mom? You think my mama's little? That's your little red wagon.
Yeah, she said that all the time.
It's not that. No, remember Sandy's mom, Mary.
No, my Aunt Mary that passed away. Yeah,
her favorite color was red, and so I said, "Well, I want my favorite color to be red too," since hers was red. And
because
so
I think she was our favorite aunt.
Well,
because she was so
we can't
funny.
Say that on camera. You're gonna have a real roof at your door. What's this about a favorite aunt?
It was a galaxy far, far away from here. She wouldn't understand.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very honored to have you here tonight, and I thank you for agreeing to do this. But I really am proud of everything that you've done, and that's why I thought it was going to be very important to have you here to discuss these things. So why don't you give a little bit of bio about yourself and about what you do?
You need a bio? You telling people how old I am?
No, just tell us about like the foundation.
I'm not ashamed to tell. I'm you know, as you said, I'm your older brother, your oldest brother, your old brother, however you want to put it. But anyway, we get to talk about the foundation, which what I appreciate you let me come on and just kind of spread the word about that. Mm-hmm. Xavier was born in 1992, but he was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2, which was the original diagnosis was called PDD, which is called pervasive developmental disorder. Mm-hmm. And the reason they did that because Xavier was doing a lot of stuff that he wasn't supposed to do if he was autistic. Because they had at that time they had a thing say, well, if you're doing this, 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 and this, you're autistic. Mm-hmm. But he was doing this, but not that, but not this. And so they was like, well, maybe it's just a pervasive developmental disorder, not autism. And so they went with that diagnosis for about a year. And the thing it was that he was nonverbal. And that was the only thing that I could see that was the developmental, maybe late, that he wasn't talking. But Carlito, his sibling, who was born 5 years earlier, mm-hmm. She was the same way. She really didn't start developing a vocabulary till after like her first birthday. So I just thought that he was in line for doing that too. Of course, I wasn't there because I was working, but his mom, his birth mom, Jacqueline Price, who was there, like I said, I'll be forever grateful for her because she insisted that something was wrong. Okay. And what she would say was that, and I kept saying, I don't see that. What you talking about? When I would come through the door, it was just interacting, doing everything. He would run up, hug me and all this stuff. So I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't see it. And so what she was, so we went, and it was a program in Winder in the Barrow County area called Babies Can't Wait. And I remember all this stuff because there was this lady named Ellen Day who got us in that program. And what she would say, and so when we took him to what was called the Marcus Center, where they watched and observed him for a week because Xavier could do so much stuff. He was walking when he was like 8 months, and so his physical development was just, he was a big kid. He's always been a big kid, and so.
Well, now you're sideways.
Oh, sorry about that. Hang on a second.
Not a problem. I'm choking Callie, so you're not missing anything.
Ain't that the truth? Oh, well, there I'm back.
There you go.
But yeah, and she was, so we took him, and then Dr. Leslie Rubin was just fascinated by it because he had this affinity for computers like right away.
I remember that.
I really didn't understand until he was like, I'll say maybe 5, you know.
Mhm.
But anyway, fast forward, learning about autism, and once the diagnosis did come back that it was autism, I just dove head first and tried to figure out everything I could about autism. And so, because I knew, and which is one of the things that we preach, I guess you call it preach, or we emphasize early on, is that early intervention is definitely the key.
Right.
And because, a lot of times what we like to do is reason away things, say, well, they'll grow out of it, or that'll happen when they're older.
Do you think that's really a Black community thing that happens in?
I can only speak because I'm in the Black community and I know how prevalent that is, but it may have to be happening everywhere, is what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair.
But, and that's why I tell early intervention was the absolute key for Xavier being, his quality of life, because that was one thing that kept driving me, was that his quality of life was now in the hands of me, his mom, and of course his siblings, who did a great job with him too, because to their credit, they didn't treat him like he had a disability, especially Carletha. I mean, she would just, just talk to him like he was just regular,
Yeah.
And she's like, you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna do this. And he knows he's got me with those eyes and they say I like to spoil him, and I do. But again, like I said, the basis of that is not, I want to make his life as comfortable as possible. At the same time, I want to try to protect him, because a lot of what was taken from him, it was no fault of his own. You see what I'm saying? It was no fault of his own. And so I wanted him to have a regular, as normal a life as he wanted. And so around 25 years, I had a lot of experience growing up with it. And as life would have it, he developed a seizure condition when he was 7. So now
how did that feel when that happened? How did you feel?
What's that now?
When that happened, when he started having the seizures, did that scare you? How did you feel?
Well, I'm not easily a scared person. So I usually just pretty much take stuff in stride. You never know if it bothered me or not. Which is
true.
Which is disposition that I have. I've had it all my life. But anyway, I was at work when I got the call the first time. They said your son just had a seizure. And a lot of times the school system would try to send him home because another student would be afraid of Xavier because he was so much bigger than everybody in his class.
Mm-hmm.
And and my thinking was, well, that's what's going on. I said, because my son doesn't have seizures. What are they talking about? Because he never had one. Because normally with autism, the seizures start right away. It's not something that develops later, which also led me to believe, that's just the school just trying to, they don't want to deal with him today.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking. But then I actually saw him have one. And then I knew then we were up against something else, another challenge. But I didn't think it was bigger than I was. And that was, because, at the time, before Xavier was born, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I didn't really believe in God.
I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't believe in God. I didn't have a strong faith in it, because I could never understand why good people suffered. And if there was an entity or a being that could stop that, why would he allow that if he really loved people?
I remember those conversations we used to have about that. I remember that.
Yeah. But then,
and the funny thing was that you used to go to church so regularly, and then you suddenly just stopped.
Because I really couldn't get an answer to those questions,
right?
To that one very question, and then I started to see some things in church that I blamed on church, but actually it was the people and the individuals who I should have been looking at instead of quote unquote the church.
Amen.
But anyway, yeah, because not to get too far off topic, but the thing I like to say about the church is they have a fundamental flaw, and what they don't understand is, or they seem to have forgotten, is that it's the person that has the soul, not the sin.
Ooh.
They don't understand that, and they focus so much on that person's sin, being it, well, if he's a homosexual, or if they're gay, or if they're drinking, or if they're on drugs, or if they're doing anything else. But what I'm saying is, you tend to forget it's the sinner that has the soul, not the sin. That's what church has forgotten about that, even in this day and time. But anyway, getting back on subject, the Hope for Xavier Foundation is what it's actually called. And is hope with the number 4. You know where that number 4 comes from?
Where?
My 4 siblings.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be presumptuous.
well, in that case, being presumptuous, you would have been right.
Yeah.
But yes, the Hope for Xavier Foundation. And I wanted to take all of the information that I had gained over those 25 years
Mm-hmm.
and share it with somebody, because when I first started with Xavier on this autism, on this autism journey, I bought a T-shirt because, like I said, I was buying everything that had autism on it. If it was a roll of toilet tissue, if it had autism on it, I'm buying it. But anyway, I had a shirt that said 1 in 88 children will be born with autism. One of them was mine.
Wow.
2 years passed, and it was 68. 1 in every 68 in just 2 years.
Oh wow.
So it was trending in the wrong way. So I thought awareness needed to be brought to it, and plus the experience that we had with Xavier, going to the doctors. Like I say, he developed a seizure disorder, and now he's on pills to help reduce the seizures. It doesn't stop him, but it helps reduce, because he was having like 3 or 4 a day.
Oh wow, poor baby.
But now he was placed in his study there because what we were up against was they wanted to do like exploratory brain surgery, which I thought was crazy, because a lot of times when people start talking about what they wanted to do with Xavier, they tend to forget we had a barrier that we had up against us, was that he was nonverbal. He could not tell us what was going on with him, how it was affecting him. We would have had to have guessed. And it was at that time when I started to realize that there was a higher power, because I saw some of the stuff that Xavier was able to do with a computer. And he never had a lesson. He never had a typing lesson. He never had anything. Xavier would literally just, because I'm a big newspaper guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the newspaper. And that was one of the things that he and I used to do all the time. I would get the newspaper, especially the Sunday paper, because it had all the advertising. That's what he wanted, the advertising and the funnies.
Mm-hmm.
And he would take them, and he would go into the computer and start typing what he had just seen in the newspaper. It was always mainly cars.
Wow.
And he was
never had a lesson.
He never had a typing lesson, and he typed with 2 hands. I got a college degree in criminal justice by pecking with my left hand because I couldn't type that good. And that was so
Trust
amazing.
Me, that's what I do here. Yeah.
And that was so amazing to see that. And he was doing it from his mind, because he didn't have the newspaper with him. He was just typing them.
Oh, he was remembering it.
He was remembering it. And he was just he would go down the road and when he misspelled, he backspaced and did all of that.
No lesson.
No lessons whatsoever. And he would know when he misspelled something. He would backspace and correct it. And that was at my time. I said, there has to be a God, because this is what he's in front of me. And then as time went on, like I said, he would definitely change my perspective on a lot of things about what Xavier actually was, because he wasn't a mistake. He wasn't born with something wrong with him. And my testimony is that Xavier was sent to save me, because
I was just about to say that he restored you.
He absolutely did. That is my testimony, because without him, I don't know if I would have got closer to God like I needed to be. A higher power for what it is for me. I don't know if I would have liked to. I think I would have, but I know that I definitely did with him, and that is my testimony, that he was sent to save me.
That's beautiful.
And you've been around, and he's 6'4", 348 pounds.
Yes.
Wears a size 16
just
shoe.
a big old sweetheart, though. Just a big teddy bear.
But that was my next comment going to be. He's just so easygoing.
Yeah.
Just an even keel. And again, I see a miracle every day when I see him.
I like that.
And that got me to thinking that I've always been the type of person that would just say, I want to help you. I was that way growing up, and without any kind of reward.
Right.
And I didn't look for appreciation. And the thing I like to tell people is that my help doesn't obligate you. I help you because I want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And
When you were creating the foundation, did you run into any obstacles in creating it, or how did that happen?
Creating it, no, the only thing that, if you want to say that I ran into, was trying to get people behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because to start a foundation is one thing, but then there's so many nuts and bolts that you really don't know until you get into it. Sort of like the LLC, filing for the nonprofit status, all of that stuff. That cost me about $1,500.
Okay.
And and when you're sitting in a room and everybody's saying that they want to help, they'll do it, they'll do it, they'll do it. But as they say, when the rubber meets the road, you find out who the people are with you, who the people are. But you don't hold grudges against people that aren't.
Kelly, be still. Yes.
Yeah, you don't hold grudges against people who aren't. You just, you continue to go on because you know why you're doing it, and that has to drive you, because your dreams are your dreams, your visions are your visions. Everybody doesn't have the vision. They may want to help, but you can't expect it to be more important to them than it is to you.
This is true.
Now,
you've done a lot the foundation does a lot for the community. I remember, now, don't you have like a yearly gala that you have?
Yeah, and we have the Black Tie Gala is our biggest fundraiser. But, because of COVID, we weren't able to have it this year. And it looks like we're not going to be able to have it again this year.
Okay.
Because of the restrictions. So we have to find fundraising efforts otherwise. One of the things we did last year was that we sold T-shirts. Of course, that's one of the things that we do every year. And we had a raffle. And the proceeds from that go to a scholarship that was founded in honor of our neighbor and our friend and our sister, Wanda Lene Emerson Thompson.
Yes.
It's called the Wanda Lene Emerson Thompson Scholarship Award. Excuse me. And we give it to someone that's has Wanda's spirit, because one of the things that Wanda loved about, what you loved about Wanda, you noticed about her, she was one of those type people too that helped without expecting anything back.
Yes,
Because that was who she was.
She was very much like that. Yes, she was.
Yeah. Quick story on that. She died from complications of lupus here a while back, and her and our brother Dale, they dated in high school and all through college for a little while. In life, started in different directions. But when she was in the hospital, he went to see her, and he called me on his way from visiting her from the hospital. And he said, and I was asking how she was doing, and he said, it's in God's hand. Then and I kind of knew then, and I said, well, is she in good spirits? He was like, yeah. She was asking about the foundation, because that was something her and I had talked about, because as fate would have it, her son was born with autism too.
Oh wow, I did not know that part.
Yeah, and we were next door neighbors. How about how crazy is that? We were next door neighbors, and we would grow up and have 2 autistic kids.
That is crazy.
And so when we were out, and Dale was sharing with me. I said, well, how? And he said, well, it's in God's hand. And he said, but she's still holding on. She even asked me about that foundation. She said, did Sam ever start that foundation? And Dale said, no, he's still in the process of doing it. And Dale was very helpful in doing that too, just pointing me in the right direction about what this how to apply for.
Dale is our older brother. For those of you who are wondering who Dale is, he's our older brother, another brother of ours. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and he said one thing she did say. She said, when I get out of here, she said, I want to help Sam start that foundation. And she died 3 days later. And so I was like, there's absolutely no way that I, and that gave me another push, to go ahead and continue and do that. And so what happened was, that was how the scholarship and foundation started. We've given away 3 so far. The first one went to a Debrisha Lyles, and the second one went to Ariel Durden. And this year it went to, I cannot think of her name to save my soul. She was a Harris. Anyway, she was like the valedictorian of Wine Barrel. Anyway, the scholarship includes like $1,000 and a brand new laptop, and we are a resource for them while they're in school. When I say a resource, what I mean is that if they get in school and they're short of money, and I know, but I've been in college, and sometimes money that you got coming in, sometimes it's just not enough. and you may not have enough money. So they would be able to come back to us, while they're in school, send us a letter or give me a call and say, I need X amount of dollars next quarter. I'm going to be short. I need this, yada, yada, yada. And of course, we would honor that request because we kind of like partnership. It's our way of giving back.
Well, I like that.
And so that's one of the, and we partnership with other people too, because sometimes we got one of our core beliefs at the Hope for Xavier Foundation is that we believe that you get more of what you want by helping others.
True.
And so if somebody else has something that they're doing and it's community oriented, and we try to stay out of other people's spotlights. That's one thing that I do because, a lot of people, they want credit if they did something. Not everybody, but, I'm one of those people that this is your event. I don't want to see my name on your flyer.
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on.
Yes, a lot of, I don't want your name. I don't want to, but, but if somebody's doing it, so if somebody's helping us, I'm sure that I want to do it. And we partner with a lot of people. One in particular, it's Claudine's closet. Dana Billings. You remember her?
No.
You remember Dana? Well, anyway, Dana it's called Claudine's Closet. She did it in honor of her mom, of her grandmother, Miss Claudine Riley. And she feeds the homeless. Yeah, she feeds the homeless. She doesn't. We partner with her with clothing drive. As a matter of fact, my living room is full of clothes that I got to get to her anyway because I have a clothing drive.
That's beautiful.
That I give to her. We did.
I remember, wasn't it? I didn't mean to cut you off. Didn't y'all send Hope for Xavier? Didn't you send water during Hurricane Harvey here to Houston?
I was just about to get to that. Yeah, we sent.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we sent.
I was super proud of you for that. I was super proud of you for that.
When you gave me the insight of what was going on and how people were price gouging water and the craziness, and that's sad that human beings would do something like that. Yeah, we rolled up our sleeves and we sent like 2 shipments of water.
You did. I remember that. That was So this foundation really does a lot for communities.
Yeah, we're really community oriented, and like I say, and we appreciate the support that we get from people. And like I said, it's not about patting on the back. And like I said, my whole thing is, I look at Xavier and I don't say anything wrong with him. He's perfect the way he is. My thing with Xavier is like I tell everybody, I think he's a trailblazer because somebody else is going to get that diagnosis that their son has autism or that their daughter has autism, and they're going to be frightened because there were a lot of questions that I didn't have the answer for. And I was just, blown away.
Is there a link? They're asking in the comments. Is there a link where they can make donations?
I should have put it in. If you did want to put it in, it's called $Hope for X.
Hold on.
If you wanted to put it in,
I can. $Hope. Number 4.
Yeah.
For X.
X, yes. $Hope.
$Hope for X. Is it a lowercase x or a capital X? Just X.
Just X.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put it in the comments. There. I put it in the comments. It's $Hope for X. If you want to make a donation, you feel free to go to $Hope for. Is that Cash App?
Yes, it's Cash App. This
is on Cash App. You can donate through Cash App. $Hope for X. Okay, so we're going to switch gears. How did this podcast come about?
Well, actually, the truth be told, I'm actually sitting at the set of Xavier. I have a podcast for Hope for Xavier, called Xavier's Journey as well, which is the set that I'm sitting at now.
Okay.
But the podcast that you referred to is called It's a Wrap with Reggie and Sam.
Okay.
That podcast.
You have 2 podcasts.
Yes, I've got 2.
Oh wow! See, I thought it was just the one. I didn't know that. Tell me about
This is the set for the Hope for Xavier Foundation. It's called Xavier's Journey, and I talk about some of the stories that happened with Xavier. Of course, information that I found because I stay on the internet trying to find out the latest techniques, the latest of information that's come out about autism, and I have that. It's on Anchor, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
And of course, I always post it on my Facebook page. But the It's a Wrap was actually birthed from the Xavier's Journey because I had been doing Xavier's Journey for a year before I did the It's a Wrap with Reggie and Sam. And how that came along was I'm like one of the Reggie and I are one of the oldest. We're the oldest people at our jobs. There's that word old again. But
take
anyway,
me back. Take me back. Well, who is Reggie, and how did you meet him?
I met him when I got hired on at my job, at the job I have now, Safe Life.
Okay.
People think I've been knowing Reggie all my life because of the camaraderie that we got between us, but it's not. It's just it was such a mutual respect from the beginning because he was real. Because I'm kind of an introvert, you know. I pretty much don't say anything to people unless they say something to me. But then once we talking, I'll give it to you and let you know. And
okay.
So he and I used to talk all the time, and he would ask me about certain things, and he seemed like I always had the answer for it. And then people would ask him the same thing at his job where he came from before then, and he would tell me about some of the experiences that he had. And then one day, because he works in a different department than I am, and he said he heard two people talking, and I forget what the subject they were talking about. And he said he heard one of the guys say, "You need to talk to Mr. Sam." And Reggie said that they were like, man. And so he come and asked me, did I know that? I had no idea who they were because I change people's batteries in their report wheels, so I get to talk to everybody every day if it's not for 3 minutes. And the guy started, and another guy came up, and he started having a conversation with me. And I was like, and at the end of the conversation, I asked him, I was like, why did you ask me that? I said, you and I never talked. He said, well, one day I heard people in the racks talking, and I heard somebody say, you need to go talk to Mr. Sam. And then he told me, he said, you should put a couch over here and start charging people. And I thought that was funny. And so Reggie was going through some things, and he and I were talking. And he said, you know what? He said, we should start a podcast. He was asking about the Xavier Journey podcast. And he said, well, you and I should start a podcast. And see, because Reggie is just over the top humorous about some of his takes on some of this stuff will lead you crazy. But I'm like the voice of reason who tells you how much in trouble he is. If I'm the voice of reason. So there's a balance there. Yeah, so there's a balance there. And so lo and behold, we started having it, and it hasn't taken off like we wanted it to. Because one on the marketing side, but we've got good content. We've had some great shows. We had one on human trafficking that I was very proud of. We had one on racism that was this year with our cousin Teresa Bailey. She's real big in politics here in Gwinnett County, which is in Georgia, by the way. I was very proud of that one. And then we had Black History Month, and then we had one on relationships, which was more Reggie style because he likes to call himself a player. I don't know why. I don't know why we still using that word. And we just I'm 59, he's 63, but he'll still say player. But he and I both have an affection for dress. Oh Lord, you are 59. I just remembered that. Yeah. Listen how you say that. No, that just remind me of how old I am. What do you think about me? I got children that are 30 years old. Oh my God, I know that. When I saw, every time I see a picture of Carlisa, I just fall out. I'm like, I remember. Oh my Lord, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. How did that even happen? We don't look a day over 30 ourselves, honey. What? It's funny you say that because nobody believes I'm 59. Well, I guess I should know that you're 59 because you're 4 years older than me. But, yeah. But I don't think of you in terms of being 59. I just think of you in terms of being 4 years older than me, whatever that means. Does that make sense? Absolutely not. I don't know why you said it. I guess because I don't think of myself as being in my 50s, let alone my mid-50s. So therefore, whatever age I think I am, I just think of you as being 4 years older than that. Now you sounding like R. Kelly. Oh, well, let me switch. Age ain't nothing but a number. I don't want to sound like R. Kelly in any kind of way. I wouldn't say it like it was a good thing. Trust me. Let me change that up right now. But anyway, I've seen your the artwork for Reggie and Sam. I've seen the merchandise. What are your hopes for that podcast? Well, actually, the hope for that podcast is like I want to turn it into like a production company or a consulting because what I would like to do is take the Xavier story and start sharing it with the world. Because a lot of people always ask me, they say, well, why did you just now decide to start to tell this story? You know, he was 25 at the time when the foundation was started. And I said, because I think it was time for that story to be told, because I don't think it was ready to be told yet, but now I think it is. Because the diagnosis of autism now is so prevalent. Somebody's getting that diagnosis every day, and they need answers to some of those questions that I had that I didn't have.
And autism is one of those things because there's such a spectrum with autism that you can be on this side of the spectrum or on this side. And so a lot of people don't know. And I think the awareness that you bring to it is very much needed for that reason alone.
And I'm glad that you say that. And it's something that your show is called Spectrum, and the autism thing is Spectrum. Because Xavier is definitely on a different end of the spectrum than I know this young man. His name is David Rogers, and he was originally his mom, Sandra Rogers, was originally part of the Hope for Xavier Foundation. But you know, politics and life and things like that changed. But she's still very much connected. And David, he was diagnosed with autism as well. But David is on a different end of the spectrum from Xavier. As a matter of fact, David just got his driver's license. See what I'm saying? That will never happen for Xavier. David is an accomplished musician. He plays in the concert band, and he's just done some amazing things. And just a great kid. And he can talk to you about autism and what it's like, which I think is great. And he shared that openly. If you ask him, I think David is 17 now.
Oh wow! And it just dawned on me when you just said that Xavier was 25.
Well, actually, Xavier's 27. I said he was 25. He's actually 28. Xavier is about to be 29 in November.
And that just blows my mind. It just
it was 25. Yeah, he was 25 when we started when I started the foundation.
So once this once COVID is over, I don't know why I said spectrum. Once COVID is over, are you going to plan a huge gala to reintroduce it, to relaunch or anything? What are you going to do once this COVID is over?
Of course there will be a relaunch, but we're doing things now to kind of make us to keep making ourselves relevant, to let people know that we still exist. Of course, we partnership with people and things of that nature. Like coming up here in the next 2 months, I'm partnership with a person that does my t-shirts, D&G Printing. The owner is Donald Ryden. He called me a couple of months ago about a softball tournament. For autism. So you see what I'm saying? Stuff like that raises money. And I have we're going to be doing registration we're wrapping off a Yeti cooler. It's retail value at $259. We're going to be raffling that off here within the next month as well. And we're really shooting. And again, like I said, we're partnering with Claudine's father, Miss Dana, building curator really, because she got married and left in curator. But anyway, we're planning a road race at the end of the summer, a 5K walk run road race, and it's going to be called Xavier's Run.
Where's that going to be located?
Xavier's Run or Xavier's Run for Hope. We haven't decided yet. We're going to work with a t-shirt vendor and get those out and see which one works better. But that's going to be toward the end of the summer, because I did find out that if you plan in a road race, you need to have a successful one, a good one. You need to plan to have 6 months out. So, say 6 months from March, look for that road race. And again, there'll be ways that you can again donate, or you can buy t-shirts, because we have t-shirts made up for it. But again, I thank you so much for letting me come on. And I'm hoping that some of your fans will become some of my fans, because I looked at your show and I'm very proud of you as well.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love the flow of your show. You got some very knowledgeable panelists.
Very thank you. I appreciate that.
Very, very opinionated, but very educated.
That's one thing about
it. When you get a platform, you have to be very careful that you don't empower ignorance.
This is true,
because that's a dangerous thing, to empower ignorance. But I like that they all got their own individual opinion, and they don't try to piggyback off what somebody else says or try to go along. They got their own opinions, the very strong opinions. And I particularly was very interested with Wendy and Chris.
Yes.
Wendy and Chris, and I love Chris's, I love Chris's demeanor about how he's confident about what he talks about because he knows what he thought. He's done his research.
Yeah.
And Wendy about the activism, she's absolutely right. And I think that was one of the problems that, when I talk about the civil rights movement, I think we did not transfer that passion to our generation, from generation to generation. And that's one of the reasons why it's not as strong as it was back in the 60s, because we failed to transfer that passion to the next generation.
I love the way you just said that. That's the perfect way to say that, the transference of the passion. That is the best, excellent way to put that. And fun note, Wendy is on the spectrum of autism.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I don't know why I didn't tell you earlier. It just popped in my head when you said her name. I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned that. But
then she can be a guest on my show.
I will definitely have her hit you up and give her your information.
Yes, absolutely. And tell her to subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page.
Most definitely. Now tell us the YouTube channel again. What's it called?
My YouTube channel is Samuel Hutchins. And on that's where you see the Xavier's Journey, and you'll see the It's a Wrap with Reggie Sam podcast, past shows. And we got one coming up about entrepreneurship. And my daughter, Talisha and Carlitha, are quite the entrepreneurs because they're doing everything that I should have been doing at 30 that they're doing, because I am very proud of both of them. And they jumped into that entrepreneurial spirit. And my mom's spirit is all up in both of them.
And trust me, I see it. I definitely want to bring them on. I was going to bring them on together and talk about their businesses as well. But that's
they're going to be on my podcast here next month. We're actually shooting a commercial, and they're going to be in it. So,
that's fabulous.
Yeah, I'm trying to promote this thing. At the end of the day, what would it take for me to say that I've succeeded is that I get to spend more time with Xavier through the efforts of the podcast and stuff like that? Because I want to do speaking engagements. I want to do coaching, life coaching. I want to do all kinds.
I think you'll be great at all of those things. That's good. I'm excited. Well, definitely keep me posted. And you have an open invitation to come back on the show if you have something you want to talk about, or you want to get the word out about anything else. Just feel free to just hit me up, and I would love to have you back on the show. I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation with you. And it has been good. You're looking good. You look all healthy, like you're losing weight, carrying on, and doing
everybody
all the
says
things.
I'm losing weight, but I don't think I've lost any.
Well, you've lost some, I can tell.
Okay, I'll take that. Like I said, I think you overstate, but I'll take it.
Well, I am known for overstating a lot. I that is kind of my thing, but but in this instance, I'm not. I can tell. Trust me. Since the last time I saw you, you have lost weight in a good way, though. Well, thank you, and give my love to the family, to everybody. Let me know how things are at the Fox of the River and what's going on.
I most certainly will, and I will share this on my YouTube page and all my Facebook pages, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this. This is great. Thanks. I like this a lot.
I love you, and I miss you, and hopefully I get to come home this August. That's the plans. We'll see.
Well, you got a bed here.
Yay! I'm going to move back home. I'm kidding. All right. All right, mister. I will talk to you later, and I love you, and you have a good night.
Well, I love you too. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was my oldest brother, Sam, who was having a conversation. It went way longer. He and I talk like that. Once we start talking, it's going to be at least an hour. But I wanted to leave this question up here. It wasn't on topic to the interview, but it is a good question. Do you think we as Black people need to question all things, including a God, I think you meant to say God, just because we don't have all the answers means God? Yeah, I definitely believe that. Black atheists, I do believe it. I have this thing where I think everybody, because they talk about how transgender people transition. I think everybody needs to transition. I think you should question your religion, question your education, question everything, not just religion. You should question everything that is foundational to who you are. Are you a Christian just because your parents were Christians and they sent you to church to be a Christian? Do you believe in God simply because everybody you know believes in God, or do you really believe in God? Who are you? I think everybody should transition and find out who they really are and question everything about yourself, because when you do that, you might end up living a happier life because you're unhappy because you're living this life that has been forced upon you. And so, yeah, I definitely think everybody should question everything, including their relationship with God. I do firmly believe that. I also believe you should just question everything. And if you don't like if you were named Betty and you don't like being called Betty, well, then change your name. You don't have to stay Betty for the rest of your life. You can be Sally. It's like, just because you're not is transitioning should not just be for trans people, for transgendered people. You should transition your life to create the life that you want to have, create the reality that you want to be in. I feel like everybody should do that. And it's not just about Black people. I think white people, Hispanic people, all people. This is to the Black atheist. I'm answering his question, in case y'all are wondering what I'm talking about. Yes, I do think everybody should question everything and transition and become who you, well, maybe not if you don't believe in God, whoever you believe in or whatever your spirit is telling you that you should do and who you should be, become that person. That is your duty, your job, your obligation. Become that person. That is my humble opinion. But anyway, I digress. I hope that answered your question, Black Atheist. Now, we're going to switch gears. We're going to pay a couple of bills here real quick. Again, if you're interested in being a sponsor for the show, just inbox me and let me know. We'll be more than happy to get your information and get your commercial uploaded and get you to be a part of the Spectrum family. I'm going to thank Love the One You're With, Wedding Officiant and Wedding Services, as well as Sweets by Elise, and as well as Discovery Green. But right now, let's see a couple of those commercials again. Alrighty, and again, if you're interested in being a sponsor or an advertiser, just inbox me on Facebook, or you can send me a message in Messenger directly. Now we're going to move to our Black History Month, Black History Moment. Every week I've done a different person in the LGBTQIA+ community for Black history. And I want to give a very special shout out to Zach Butler for producing these videos. And he has produced this one. And when I saw it on Facebook, I'm like, you must send that to me, because that's the perfect way to end Black History Month. And so take a look at this. And again, thank you, Zach Butler, for producing our Black History videos this month. Wasn't that perfect and beautiful and the perfect way to end Black History Month? Oh, it was just beautiful. And thank you, Zach Butler, for that once again. I need to put you on staff as my video editor just permanently because that was just so perfect. Oh, excuse me. I slipped out of frame for a moment. Callie, I'm up here wrestling with her. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope y'all had a wonderful time today with Spectrum. We had a big show. It was full. But when my brother gets to talking, I just sit like a child and listen, and I could listen to him talk all the time. So yeah, the show ran a little bit long, but I loved every minute of it. So I want to thank my panelists, my co-hosts once again, and thank my brother Sam. Again, you can look into, I'm going to try to put the links on the YouTube channel as far as getting in touch with Hope for Xavier if you want to make a donation, or if you have a resource that you want to connect with Hope for Xavier for. And please remember to check out Hope for Xavier's Journey is the podcast #1. And you can check out those podcasts right here on YouTube. All right, so it's that time of the show for our video viral clip of the week. And this was the one from the week when we had the snow winter apocalypse. So this is that one. And I saw this video and I absolutely fell in love with it. I have seen this video like 9,000 times. I love it. So I wanted to share it with you. Here it is.
Worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. I woke up this morning on my horizon. 3 little birds were on my doorstep, singing sweet songs. Melody blowing through, and they said, "This message is you." They said, "Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright."
Isn't that adorable? Oh my God, this is the perfect video. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Join us next week. It'll be March the 5th, 7th. I don't know what day. March 7th. I think it's March 7th. God, we're already in March, you guys. Anyway, have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit share, like, and subscribe this video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next Sunday night at 7 o'clock. It was a long night.
Who can turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it, love is all around.